Was the penalty of $600,000 a good punishment for Mark Cuban saying that Dallas Mavericks should tank this season?
Yes, I don't think it really affects him. Like, he's that rich that I don't think it bothers him. I think it's the league. The league had to do something because you can't have a figure like Cuban coming out and saying, we're tanking, and just be like, oh, that's all right. Like, even though, to be perfectly honest, everybody knows that the bottom 8 or 9 teams are tanking. But the NBA's approach to it is just to stick their head in the sand and say, well, nobody's tanking. We don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Despite the fact that, like, the Suns have lost nearly 10 in a row. Memphis have lost nearly 10 in a row.
I think I saw a stat ESPN put up this morning that said the bottom 5 teams in the league have lost their combined 34 games in a row or something. Yeah. So,
the last...
Suns 10 in a row. Grizzlies 10 in a row. Kings lost 4 in a row. Hawks have lost 4 in a row. Magic have lost 6 in a row. Bulls have lost 4 in a row.
Jesus.
I think you get one win.
Yeah.
Like, out of 10. Yeah. Like, get lucky once.
I think it's a big issue for the league because, I mean, finding him $600,000 isn't going to really fix the problem, let's be honest. Yeah. And, I mean, I think more now than ever, there's always been discrepancies between the best and the worst. Like, there always will be. But a perfect league is where there is equality to some degree and not it's never really going to be any team can win on any weekend or any day, but it's close enough that there is that hope for every supporter base. But at the moment, the difference between the Warriors, they've set the benchmark so high that these teams down the bottom know that there's no point. Like, there is nowadays in the NBA, there's no point to being stuck in the middle. Yeah. Like, it doesn't actually achieve anything. It doesn't help your franchise.
And these days, the middle, as we're looking at the Western Conference, that middle is the 3rd and 4th seed.
Yeah, it's massive.
It's
just
10,
a log
11.
jam in the middle.
That's the middle.
But, like, for the Clippers, for example, as a Clippers supporter, I don't want us to win. Because, to me, if we slip into the 8th seed or 7th seed, we're just going to get swept by Houston or the Warriors, and we get a lower draft pick than if we actually fall down the standings, we get a higher draft pick, and we actually have a chance of rebuilding. But at the same time, that's wrong. You shouldn't have a league that it's an incentive to lose, which that's a problem. But at the moment, with the way it is, the setup of how the lottery system and the percentages work and everything.
They could change the percentages.
Now, so they are, at the moment, it's... If you finish last, I think...
25%.
25%. They're actually changing it to 14% next year. And I think if you finish dead last with the worst record, instead of guaranteed top 3, I think it's top 5. So they are changing a bit. Yeah. But I still don't think it's going to be enough. Like, you're still going to have teams tanking.
I just can't remember the last time we had... I'm looking at it now. The bottom 8 teams in the league, there's 2 wins between all of them. Yeah. So Chicago will probably... that top team with 20 wins
now completely going for it. Like, as soon as they got rid of Mirotic, they going for it. The Knicks are going to be going for it now that Porzingis is gone. And he said you got literally Suns on 18, Atlanta 18, Kings 18, and
it's that widespread.
Magic.
It's
Grizzlies.
not like the NBA want to stop it.
No.
They're going to limit it with the percentage changes in the lottery. But their policy is just don't talk about it. If you're going to do it,
stick your head in the sand.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Yeah, well,
you can't have owners blatantly talking about tanking,
especially because they get a lot of revenue from gambling and everything.
That's a third of the league. How do you sell like tickets?
I don't think we've ever had. Oh, we might, but it just seems like there's such a huge range of clubs who are so obviously tanking. And like every season, it's like, oh, you might have 1 or 2 or 3 who are like, you can tell they're not trying, but it's like 8 or 9.
And like you said, it's changed where the Warriors have become that good. Yeah, their teams aren't looking 1 year ahead. No, they're looking 5 years ahead
because they know
Philadelphia style.
Yeah. It's like, what is the point of trying to compete now? We're not going to be able to build a team that can genuinely compete. Let's aim for, 2021, 2022, which is good in terms of, it is good strategy long term because the Warriors won't be the Warriors then, most likely. But in terms of selling the league, it's it's pretty poor. It doesn't look good.
Yep.
You don't have to bottom. You don't have to bottom out though. The Celtics have proven that you don't have to bottom out. Look at how well they've.
But you need a front
They
office.
struck gold. Though.
Yeah,
You need a front office who's switched on, and there are the problem with a lot of these franchises is they're not
front
switched on.
Yeah.
Like they're making terrible decisions. They don't necessarily have the best coaches, this kind of thing.
Knicks and Nets.
But like I just think it punishes. So take the Miami Heat. They said they don't have an all-star. Goran Dragic doesn't count. As much as he was an all-star, he's not if there's no injuries. Yet they're in the 8th seed because of how good Spoelstra is and how good their system is. But in a way, they're not going to win the championship this year. They're probably going to lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they're like getting a negative effect from the fact that they're winning. Whether you've got these other teams who could probably compete with them if they had the same coach and the same system, but they're trying to lose and they're getting the high draft picks. That's just not fair. Like.
And even the Clippers, when they take out Blake, they're bringing in these role players. They're not bottoming out. They want to stay relevant.
Just stuck in that middle no man's land.
They're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, as I said, unless you're like the Celtics and you strike gold and the Nets are stupid and give you every pick they own for the next 75 years for a bunch of retiring veterans, you're not going to get that kind of, golden pass very often.
Yeah.